Before joining the trial, there's a couple things you'll want to do before you enter the room, and we've listed them here. These are things that just will help avoid there being interruptions while you're speaking or while you're giving your trial presentation during the course of the trial, or while others are speaking or the judge is speaking. So, first, you want to find a quiet place to limit background noise. We know some of you may be in your house or your apartment, there may be others around you. And so the important thing is to make sure you find some place that minimizes the amount of background noise and so there's not interruptions coming from external sources. Second, make sure you turn off all notifications on your computer and cell phone or close any applications that might have notifications or alerts while you're in trial, such as your email. If my email's open, every time I get an email, it dings and that would be caught by the microphone while I'm in trial, which would interrupt my speaking or potentially interrupt somebody else's speaking in the trial. So make sure that you're turning off notifications and alerts on all your electronic devices before you enter the trial. Third, silence your cell phone. We want you to have your cell phone on because we may need to communicate with you, and that would be one of the ways we do it. The presiding judge may need to communicate with you. Your second chair may need to communicate with you, and that's one way that could happen. But what you don't want is for that cell phone to ring or to buzz or do anything else while you're in trial. So make sure you silence your cell phone and you need to pay attention to it, but don't have it making noise while the trial is going on. All right, now it's time to enter the meeting. And you'll receive a set of pairings that will tell you for each one of your rounds which courtroom you're going to be in. You'll also receive a document like this that'll show you the links for each one of those courtrooms, along with the password, which will be the same for all of them, Top Gun 2020 in all caps. And all you'll need to do when it's time for you to go to your meeting is click on the link for the courtroom that you're assigned to. So if you were in courtroom number 1, you'd simply click on this link right here. When you do that, this box should pop up that offers you the opportunity to either join without video or join with video. Since you're the attorney in the room, we're going to want you on video. So you want to click join with video. At that point, Zoom will take you to a waiting room. Now, the waiting room is important because we're going to have multiple trials going on in the same courtrooms over the course of the day. And so you may have to wait for a little while before you can actually get into your room. So at this point, what you're waiting for is the presiding judge to admit you into the room. And this will also ensure the judge has control over who's in the room and make sure that nobody is in the room who's not supposed to be there. So all you'll need to do at this point is just wait. Sit here and wait until the presiding judge allows you in. Now, once the judge has allowed you in, this box will pop up with the option of either joining with computer audio or testing your speaker and microphone. All you need to do at this point is click join with computer audio, which will bring up your computer audio and turn your microphone on and also allow you to hear all the other participants in the room. So simply click that box. And now you're in the room and ready to try the case. Now, the first thing you'll want to do once you're in the room is rename yourself so that everyone in the room will understand who you are, and also so everyone in the room will understand what your role in that trial is going to be. So this is simple. All you need to do is hover your cursor over your own box where your face appears on the screen. And then you go up, there will be a little blue box with 3 white dots in it. Click on that box. That'll bring up a drop-down menu. Once that menu appears, you'll see an option to rename. Simply click that option. When you do, your name will appear, and all we want you to do is enter a dash after your name and the side you're representing. So, for example, in this case, if I'm representing the plaintiff, I would simply enter that here in the renaming box and then click this blue rename button. Once I've done that, my name will appear in the bottom left-hand corner of my little box as Robert Little-Plaintiff, so that everyone in the trial will know that I'm the person representing the plaintiff in that case, which will help the jurors keep it straight as to who represents who and who's representing which party. Now, before the trial starts, the presiding judge is going to check everyone into the room. And while that's going on, making sure that all the judges are there, making sure that the witnesses are there, making sure that the attorneys are there and the second chair is there, everyone will have their camera on and their microphone on so that we can see them and make sure they're in the room and ready for the trial to begin. However, once that's done, we're going to ask all of the jurors, all the scoring judges, to turn off their cameras and mute their microphones so that they will disappear from your screen. And you see an example of that here where it shows John Doe dash juror. But once they've turned off their cameras, we want you to hide all the non-video participants so that the only people that will appear on the screen are the people you need to see: the presiding judge, the opposing attorney, and any witness that's testifying. So this is simple. All you do is hover your cursor over any box for any person who has their camera off. For example, again here, John Doe juror. When you do that, again, a little blue box with 3 white dots will appear in the upper right-hand corner of that box. All you need to do is click on that. It'll bring up a drop-down menu. And from that menu, select Hide Non-Video Participants. Once you've done that, all of the non-video participants will disappear from your screen, and you'll only be seeing the people who have their cameras on at that point. Now, if you want to bring those people back up at some point during the course of the trial, for any reason, that's easy enough. At the top of your screen, you'll see a little box that says Total Non-Video Participants, and then it will have the number of non-video participants participating in the trial. If you want to show them again, simply click on that box and then select Show Non-Video Participants, and that'll bring them right back. But there's really no reason for you to do that once the trial has begun and once the judge is done checking in everybody who needs to be in the trial. During the trial, you have 2 different options for what appears on your screen. Right now, I'm in what's called gallery view, which means I'm seeing anyone who has their camera. I've also got my non-video participants hidden, like we showed you a second ago. So what I'm seeing right now is anyone who's on camera will appear in my screen in these boxes. So during the course of trial, you should have 2 boxes, 1 for each attorney, including yourself. You should have a box for the presiding judge, and you should also have a box for any witness that's testifying. And if you had gallery view on, you'd see all of those people at the same time. You can also switch that. If you move your cursor in the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom box, you'll see a choice that says speaker view. Simply click on that. At that point, it'll bring up anyone who is speaking in the room, and you'll appear in a much smaller box at the top of the screen along with anyone else who's not actually speaking at that time. So you can switch back and forth between these 2 views depending on what's going on in the trial, and we're not going to tell you which view to use. You're free to use whatever view you'd like. What we would suggest is that during openings and closing statements, you use speaker view because it allows that one person who's really speaking to appear bigger in your screen. And that during pretrial and during witness examination, you use gallery view so you can see the witness, your opponent, and the presiding judge all at the same time in case there are objections or rulings that need to be made. You'll have everyone on the screen so you can see everyone who's participating in the trial. But feel free to mess around with this and change it as the trial goes on. It's just important to know the options there, and you can change those views as things are happening. One last thing. Once the trial begins, unless you're the attorney who is speaking, you should try to keep your microphone muted as much as you can. Your camera will need to remain on the entirety of the trial. However, you can mute your microphone when you're not speaking so that if there's any background noise in your room, or if you cough, or you make a noise, or if you want to talk to your second chair, for example, those things won't interrupt the attorney who is speaking and any witness who is speaking. And muting your microphone is very easy. When you move your cursor in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see an icon showing a microphone, and underneath it will be the word mute. All you have to do to mute your microphone is simply click on that icon. And when you do, a red line will appear through that microphone icon, which indicates that you're muted. You saw the red line appear. That means I'm muted, which means at that point, no one can hear what's going on in my room, and the trial can proceed without them hearing me or having me interrupt them. However, there are 2 important things to remember here. One is, of course, once you're muted, no one can hear you. So if you want to make an objection, or you want to start talking, or if it's your turn to do a cross or direct, you have to unmute yourself in order for everyone to hear you in the room. And that's simple enough as well. Again, assuming you are muted, all you'll need to do is press that icon again to unmute yourself, and you'll see the red line disappear. back and forth as many times as you need. You can turn on and off your microphone. So you want to play around with that, but generally, if you're not speaking in the room, make sure you have your microphone muted until you need the presiding judge or your opponent to hear you.